Silver makes unbelievable move. Watch price on Tuesday. Banks show horrific loss. Everyone was excited to see gold at $2,400 and silver at $28. In this video, I'm going to show you the unbelievable move silver is making. I'm going to break this down for you so you will see. Watch the price on Tuesday. What's happening now is the perfect storm, and silver is reacting in a big way. This is from Yahoo Finance. The article is titled, Jay Powell just made 2024 more of a puzzle for regional banks, as if that's possible. The article starts, Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell is making the rest of 2024 more complicated for regional banks. This past week, 12 of the nation's best-known mid-sized lenders reported sizable drops in first quarter profits, thanks largely to the effect elevated interest rates are having on their operations. We saw this coming, but to really see the data come out is painful, and it is absolutely going to have a direct impact on the price of silver this coming week. Let's continue. The article says many of these banks are paying higher costs for deposits as customers continue to seek out higher yields, and those costs are eating into a key revenue source known as net interest income. That pressure is not likely to abate anytime soon as the Fed dials back its expectations for rate cuts in 2024, a move that was cemented by Powell this past Tuesday, just as many regional banks prepared to release their first quarter results. The Fed was a popular topic for regional bank executives as they explained their results to Wall Street and described their outlook for the rest of the year. Most reaffirmed that they expect the money they make from lending to drop as rates remained elevated. This article says, take U.S. Bancorp and PNC Financial Services Corp., the two biggest regional lenders in the U.S. Listen to this. Minneapolis-based U.S. Bancorp now expects to make between $200 million and $500 million less in interest income that is forecast in January, driven by loan growth and more expense pressure from deposit costs. $200 million and $500 million less. That's just one. That's one of these regional banks. Now, as we know, this is just an inch of what's coming down the pike for regional banks. These loans that are tied to commercial real estate are all being held. The majority of those loans are being held by regional banks, and those banks have no more support. Remember, since Silicon Valley went under, regional banks were given a 1-year window of support, and that rug has been pulled out from under them as of about, 5-6 weeks ago. So there's no more support. And those loans are coming to mature as this year rolls out. So we see these rates high, and the struggle that we're seeing in this data, that leaves these regional banks on their own, and they're going to be shaking down. The other catalyst for silver price is we're in April now. We're actually closing out April now. And this is supposed to be the prime season for real estate. Nobody's buying a house as these mortgage rates are at 7%. Nobody's buying. So that's the alternative to precious metals. That's historically people who want a tangible asset, they go into they purchase real estate, or they put their money into precious metals. So that money that should be going into real estate is coming into precious metals. This silver that I'm holding in my hand, that money is coming in, and it is all that. These are the reasons why we've seen this massive boost in spot price for silver and for gold, but mainly for silver because we've been waiting for so long for silver. This has been the past two years have been a long stretch of stagnant silver price. Now, silver has increased 20%. It's actually outperforming gold. Gold has increased 15%. So silver is the sleeper, and it is going to make an unbelievable move coming up this week. This data that was just released. Now, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a regular guy stacking silver. I'm just telling you my opinion. And I've been stacking silver for years and years. Not only have I been stacking for years, but I'm deep in the weeds. I'm one of these guys that's always looking at the silver price and studying the charts, looking at the data, looking at the history. Ask my wife, it drives her nuts. And you can see, if you look at the pattern of what we've gone through the past few weeks and the pattern recently when in other years where silver has moved up like this, there clearly is a pattern. And the pattern shows that along with that historical move, that historical pattern of silver moving, add in this data that just came out with regional banks, add in this struggle for real estate, that people are not able to purchase homes with that 7% mortgage rate, all that money coming into precious metals, put in the uncertainty that's going on with the Middle East. Whenever there's uncertainty, people go into metals. All of this is the trifecta. This is coming in. So when you look at that data and that progress that silver makes, you can see Tuesday, I'd say maybe Wednesday, but we will see a strong bump in silver price. And the thing about silver, as we all know from looking at the history of silver price, is when we hit a certain threshold, it doesn't ever really dip down past a certain level. For example, when we get to $35 an ounce, which we're absolutely headed to $35 an ounce, when we get there first, that'll be an amazing level of silver, because when we have silver at $35 an ounce, that means that to buy a tube of silver of generic rounds, we will be paying $200 more than we were just, 3 months ago, 2 months ago? $200 more for a tube of rounds. And as silver stackers, we all collect generic silver. We all stack generic silver in tubes. It's very common. And so that price itself, when we get to that $35 an ounce mark, which we're absolutely going there, absolutely. When we get there, that is a huge shift in the silver market. And once we're at that $35 an ounce mark, silver, you never see silver drop down. We're not dropping back down to $25. It does, right? The history of silver, every chart that you look at, it goes by levels. So this is an incredible time for silver. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy stacking silver. But this is going to be a big week for the next 2 weeks. Are going to be big weeks for silver. And this is the time to really look closely at exactly what's going on.